tell you a little bit about the project out here at Berrico National Park, and I'll also give you a bit of a rundown about b.e.e.p and what we do. b.e.e.p is Brown Environmental Earthworks Planning. We do mostly government work for a range of different land managers, government agencies. This project's for National Parks and Wildlife Service. So it's a fire trail project, upgrade to FAF standards, which is fire access fire trails, making sure that we've got turning and passing bays every 250 and 500 metres. The purpose of that is to allow firefighters, when they're doing hazard reduction burns or managing wildfires, means that they know that they've got a location within 250 metres that they can actually do a U-turn and get out if there's a fire approaching them, or making sure they've got a location that they can turn around without having to make a decision to turn around in some crazy location. And obviously that has implications with loss of life or damage to the vehicles and that sort of thing. It's not just fire trails that we do a whole range of different restoration projects. We manage seawalls for various departments, foreshore work, sand scraping on beaches, and even landscape works for various councils, which generally keeps us pretty busy across the year, which are all great projects and all get fantastic outcomes for our clients and the community. This one out here, however, we're about 9.5 kilometres of fire trail upgrade. We're importing road-based material from a local quarry. Great for the local community to be resourcing our material to put money back into the local area. We're using local trucks for deliveries and that sort of thing. We do use our specialist subcontractors that build all of our fire trails, and we know that they know how to build great products for our clients. Here you can see we've got the passing bay that's been boxed out. Through this process, National Parks come out and do our IOTPs to make sure that they're happy with the subgrade. Once they sign that off, we can come back in and infill this with the road-based material and make sure it's an all-weather track. And the big picture purpose is for, once we've completed all of this, we've got a surface that's going to last between 5 and 10 years. As specialist earthworks project managers, we obviously have to manage safety across all of our projects. We're ISO under the JAN system, and through that process we've got an internal management system that ensures that we make very clear decisions about what we're doing on every single day. And through that process we've also got to assess what's happening as far as rain events and planning forward. Obviously, if you make mistakes, it costs you money, so we want to reduce that as much as we can. We've just recently had a couple of rain events. We had the Alfred cyclone.
Today we've seen rain along most of the coast as Cyclone Alfred starts to track towards us, 30 millimetres falling.
Which is a lot of rain in one event. We'd already done all the work on this road. As you can see, it's held up really, really well through that process. We had considered this rain event. We had a lot of discussions with National Parks about when we're going to get off site and when we're going to stay out here and work. And then when we are off site here, we can jump to other projects. Previously, we jumped from this site. We went to a project on the Central Coast, which is the Eddy Fire Trail. All right, so we've jumped off site up at Berrico National Park. Basically, it's got a bit wet up there, so we've come down to the Central Coast. We've got a project here. This project's a kilometre of trail or just over. We're installing turning and passing bays to meet, again, Cat 1 standards. This one's a little bit different. We're capping it with from top to bottom using the 40mm scalps, which is from a local quarry. It looks a bit more like a road versus some of the other materials that look a little bit more natural, but of course this is a venom product and it packs down super hard, so it's a really good choice for Central Coast Council to pick this one because the material is so close. Things are going well. We've got a few days here to get things wrapped up. We've got an oversized posse out here, which we had to rip up the road down the bottom. Obviously the roller and trucks are bringing material in as well. We've got a bit of weather to work around, but so far so good. We're wrapping up here on this site. It's taken about 7 days. We have re-established on the Berrico site and we're about to start another one for National Parks in Tomago wetlands. Essentially, we've still got a bit of tidying up to do, but we've brought in over 1,300 tonne of material, capped from the top to the bottom, maybe 50, 60 tonne of ballast as well for some check drains and outlet stabilisation, and then a big section down the bottom to take any dirt or whatever from the vehicles' tyres as they go back out onto the public road. Been a fantastic project for Central Coast Council. It's always good working with them. They've been out on site a couple of times to check our work. We've installed turning and passing bays to Cat 1 standards, and also a bunch of rollovers to divert water off the track. Gets a bit steep down there and narrow, but overall the trail meets Cat 1 standards, and it's been a good project. We'll be back up at Berrico tomorrow. Then also we're working out west in the Warrumbungles, which was an interesting project out there in the beautiful Warrumbungles. The weather hadn't impacted that area whatsoever, so we've had that flexibility to be able to jump from site to site to site and continue to keep that continuity of delivering projects for our clients. So working in national parks, obviously there's a range of different factors. There's heritage items, there's threatened plants and species, there's animals out here that we need to be mindful of. Here on this location, we've isolated this tree. This tree here is actually a scar tree. Traditionally, the local Indigenous people cut out sections of these trees to use them as baskets and that sort of thing. It's off the road, so we're not really going to have any impact, but in the interest of making sure that we don't do any damage to it, we've just isolated it here with the barrier mesh. And there's a whole bunch of little locations on this site. Yeah, we'll probably see a few more of these along the trail. So as part of our overall project management and making sure that we're working efficiently on site, we've identified a whole bunch of checkpoints throughout the trail. This is clearly our halfway point, and we know that there's a turning bay here. We can have trucks pull up here at the turning bay. He's at the halfway point, and that allows other vehicles and trucks to go through. And obviously there's a point where trucks have to cross over as we're taking deliveries. Knows he's at the halfway point and can call up and say, I'm at the halfway point, is there any trucks further up? And obviously anything that's coming back out, he can wait, or she, and then this truck can go up and tip off. All right, so this section up here, we've got another passing bay. We've had to actually box it out so that we're down to a solid subgrade. Essentially, you can see there, we've scalloped out the side. We need 6 metres wide so that two Cat 1 fire trucks, they're the big trucks, can actually pass each other as they're coming through. And he's digging down to a nice hard base, and then as part of the project scope, we're importing material and we're going to cap in over the top so it's nice and firm in all weather for many years to come. The dozers here has been trimming up the trail as we go through, and of course we've got Blake out here just making sure that everything's constructed to the standards that national parks are chasing. So everything's going well here. We are on our last day out here at Berrico National Park. We've brought in around 7,000 tonne on this project, which is almost capping it from end to end. Put in turning, passing bays, as I said, to the standard. We've put in a bunch of rollovers, some crossings, and of course manage all the drainage. We've had some major issues through this project. We had that big 1 in 500 year storm event that came through. This area through here was flooded from summer rain events and we couldn't get in, so that really slowed things up. But we are luckily on our last day here on site. We've got an east coast low developing as we speak, coming through tonight. It's just starting to rain a little bit out here. I'm just in here capturing some ITPs. We've got the roller running through and a couple of posi trucks just doing some final trim and getting rid of any windrows, etc. And making the site perfect for RFS at National Parks coming out later in the week after this rain event to hopefully sign off on everything. And then we've got a couple of signs and some marker posts to put in, which will close out the entire project. It has been a fun project out here. It's a little bit out of the way, but it's also beautiful out here in Berrico National Park. You know, we got great locations like this through here, and there's a whole bunch of these streams out this way. It's actually open to the public, so I'd encourage you to get out here and have a look. Again, fabulous project. We love working with national parks, and we love doing fire trails. Of course, it's not the only thing we do. Have a look at our backlog of all the other projects that we've done, but certainly we're getting better and better at doing fire trails. I've been doing this for about 15 years now. You know, love it. It's a really beautiful place to be out here working. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.